Your mind is not doing you. You are not a victim of your mind. You're doing it. You're doing your mind. Even all that stuff, stop doing it, and that shit goes away.
Peter Ralston is a visionary consciousness teacher, world-class martial artist, and author of 12 books, including the Book of Not Knowing. As the founder of Cheng Hsin, Peter has spent over 5 decades exploring human potential and helping others apply the teachings of ancient wisdom. In this conversation, Peter challenges our fundamental assumptions about happiness, truth, and the nature of our own minds.
A belief is not true, by definition. A belief is not true. A belief is a concept that you have of something you think is true. That's totally different. And most of your beliefs you don't even really think are true, okay? You know, not in kind of any objective or real sense or any existential or inherent sense. You see, you just like them.
What if the whole notion of someone or something having worth isn't actually real?
It's impossible to be worthless. Worth is a social matter. It's something we invented. It's not real. It's not existential. It doesn't exist in the universe, okay? And you exist in the universe, all right? And it's fine. You are what you are.
Peter offers more than the pitfalls of our current mindset by offering a radical alternative that focuses on discovering what's true rather than what makes us feel good.
You can't base your search for what's true on what you want. See, you're immediately biased when you do that, and you'll never get what's true. See, you can't base it on what's useful to you. See, because then you're always looking for use and function, and that's you, and that's an invention, and that's a certain kind of relationship. It's a total bias from the beginning.
Before we get into this conversation, I want to ask you to join this amazing community of consciousness explorers. This whole idea of pursuing expanded consciousness and the boundaries of human potential while living a modern life is relatively new, which is why we interview revered masters, teachers, experts, and practitioners to help you on your own journey. To stay up to date on the latest conversations, simply click subscribe below and you'll be notified each time a new episode comes out. I am so grateful for all of your support and comments. I love reading them. Now let's dive into this conversation. Peter, how are you?
Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to have this conversation. I've enjoyed getting to know more about you recently. And I think where I'd like to kick things off is when did you realize that suffering is not something that needs to happen as a human being in your own experience?
All righty. Sure, I can talk about that. See, my work tends to be different than what most people do. And, you know, probably a lot of people say that, but in any case, it is. And how do I say this? I focus on what's true to a fault. Say, and you'd say, well, yeah, but everybody focuses on what's true. No, they don't. No, they don't. They focus on what's best, say, or what's good, or what helps me. And none of that has anything to do with what's true. You know, and I understand that's hard for most people to hear, right? And say, yeah, no, but I want the truth to be good. I want it to feel good. I want it to do me great. I want to be, you know, blah, 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 blah. But you see, the operative aspect there is me. All right. I don't care about me. All right. That's why I keep laughing. You see, I don't care about that. I know everybody does. I understand that. All right. And in my view, you should get over that. Right. Because it's an endless pain in the ass. All right. And you're going to die. See, that sounds bad, right? I understand this sounds bad, but to me, it's not bad, right? I mean, it's true. See, you are going to die. See, so all this, like, you know, me stuff and me accomplishment, you're gonna lose it all. You're gonna die. So screw it. All right. So I'm trying to lay a little foundation here. Okay. So I'm sorry that, you know, it's not what people want to hear. But in any case, I do apprentice programs. Like they're 8-month programs because, you know, I'm answering your question now. And I work with people maybe a dozen or so guys who are willing to stay here and live here and just do nothing but eat, sleep, the work that I do. Okay, so they're committed people. Now, a couple of apprentices back, I was working with them and I noticed a couple things. Because sometimes I'm slow on the uptake. I'm kind of a hermit. See, so I don't get out much, right? In a certain way. I don't, how do you say? Ever since, let's see, ever since I was 21 years old, I had what Zen people called enlightenment experiences when I was 21. All right. And I then had several in those days. And so I've lived my entire adult life kind of in a different mode than most people do. Right. See, so I don't know what normal people do, who haven't lived a life like that, right? Who live normal lives, right? And they're doing their thing, right? Okay. See, so my apprentices have, for the most part, except they work with me and they make breakthroughs and stuff like that. But I noticed that, first of all, I was talking to them and I noticed, oh, you don't know anything outside of the social, do you? You think your social self is reality. You think that's it. That's it. That's who you are. That's what you are. I went, oh my God, I didn't get that. I thought people had that, but they also had some room, like, hey, this is it's fake. Okay. This is not real. This is not who I am, really. I mean, this is, anyway. And I noticed they didn't have that. Okay. So that was like a while back. And then from there, I started noticing, well, wait a minute, look what you're doing. And I was trying to get them to get other stuff. I was trying to go for, consciousness devoid of themselves. But I started to notice that, oh, you create all this suffering. You don't get that it's not necessary. What the fuck are you doing? It's like, and then I started working with them. And I went, oh my God, people don't see this. They don't see all sufferings created by their minds. Okay. It's all mind. None of it is necessary. You don't have to do it. Anyway, so I wrote a book. Actually, that book, I was writing another book, which still hasn't come out yet. It's called Whereof One Cannot Speak. It's very advanced, so to speak, and it's very difficult stuff, right? See, and the whole suffering stuff was in there, but it was like getting too long. I mean, it's just huge. And I went, well, this actually could serve people, right? And I don't want to bury it in here in this stuff where most people aren't going to read it. Yeah. Because they have no interest in that kind of shit. Right. See, so I took it out and I wrote this book. What's it called? Ending Unnecessary Suffering. It's been in the works for like a couple of years, so I forget. Anyway, so I wrote that because I thought, hey, people could really benefit from this work. For themselves, at least, kind of get out of some of the suffering business. So anyway, that's how it started, to answer your question.
So, I think a lot of people recognize that the mental and emotional suffering is much more where suffering occurs than actual physical pain. Oh. But there's kind of this feeling that like, I can't stop it. Yes. I got shit going on in my mind and I don't want my mind to act like this, but this is how it acts. And so, right. What's your process with these students and others who find themselves in that predicament that seems largely like the default human condition, at least the starting place?
I understand. I have a big stick. Okay. Let's start there.
Very zen.
Right. Yeah. Very zen. Yeah. See, dig it. Stop that. Okay. So your entire explanation, justification, and stance, I understand and I sympathize, but it's not true. See, so the first thing that perhaps we have to consider, or challenge is that all this bullshit that we live as if it's true is not true. Your mind is not doing you. You are not a victim of your mind. You're doing it. You're doing your mind. Even all that stuff. I mean, consider this, why not? Okay. Consider, right? All that stuff that you just say, oh, look, it comes unbidden. Oh, it does me. Oh my God, look at all this. Look at it. You're doing it. You're doing it. See? You just don't know or acknowledge that you're doing it. Okay? But I promise you, you are doing it. Stop doing it, and that shit goes away. Stop doing it. Now, I know. See, people live in a world, especially in the modern kind of human culture. In the modern human culture, we are individuals, right? And the individual's sacred. All hail the individual. Everything should be me, my destiny. I deserve everything. Bullshit. You deserve nothing. You're just lucky you're alive, for Christ's sake. And you don't even know how that came to be, do you? I mean, seriously, you don't. See, it's like, in any case, we're stuck in this programming. And then we keep it alive in part by the excuses, justifications, and explanations we have that just keep us doing the same thing. See, it's life. It's the way it goes. Oh, no, I have to do it this way. Oh, no, this has happened. It's so bad. Oh, no. Oh, look at this. Oh, I'm so worried about that. Whatever. That's all you. That's all you. It's all you. Okay? Nobody's doing it to you. Seriously, they're not. Look around. Okay? Anybody doing it to you? No, they're not doing it to you. It's your own mind. Okay, but you say, but I can't help it. I can't help it. It just happens in my mind. Who the fuck is doing your mind? Really? Who? See, more than likely, you think you are a mind. You're not, but you think you are a mind, you see? So you either are a mind and you're doing it, or you're doing a mind. Either one. Here, I'll show you. It's not that hard. Have a thought. I don't care what thought. Just have a thought, okay? You got a thought?
I got a thought.
Excellent. See? Who did that?
I did that.
You did that. Now, here's the key. Here's the key, right? Stop having that thought. Okay, just forget about it. Okay, done?
Done.
Cool. Again, it's that easy. See, now what I'm saying is all this suffering, seriously, all this serious suffering and life and everything that you can't, it's the same damn thing. You're having a thought and you can stop having that thought. You stop having the thought and the suffering goes away. Okay, but now I understand the next challenge. Okay, because remember, I've been doing this for a while.
I'm sure you've heard them all.
I have. Okay, see, it's like, yeah, but but I can't. Well, yes, you can. Okay, so we can now have an argument. You say I can, I say you can. Okay, that's not getting anywhere, right? See, but you see the thought that you have in a domain that's willful, right? Willful. You can have that thought. You cannot have that thought. Now, all this stuff that you say you're suffering is the same thing in essence, but you don't acknowledge that you're doing it. So it's more like your more automatic mind or your uncognized mind or your, I don't know what, it's like label it in some sense. You see, it's the aspect of your mind that you don't grasp your doing, but I guarantee you, you are. You are. Okay. Now, there's a couple things that keep us kind of driving in this direction. And some of it is, our programming at what has to happen socially. And I don't mean socially in a superficial sense. I mean in the fact that there's a you and there's a me. That's a social now. You see? It doesn't have to be anything else. Just you, me, boom. Okay, now we have social. See, because there's more than one. All right. See, now in this, so we have a huge reality that we share, not just you and me, but you and me and everybody else share a reality. Right? See, like you and me did not create language, but right now we're speaking, we're using language, the English language. See, we didn't create that. We learned it. See, we learned it. We created it. We learned it. See, but we all share, everybody speaks English, all share that language so we can talk to each other. You see what I'm saying? So the social context is bigger than we acknowledge. See? And we think we're this special individual inside all that. Come on. See, this social context is where we live. We don't get to exist without that. Okay. So now there's a lot of assumptions, conclusions, agreements in this social context, you see, that we buy into, that we think are true, that we live out of, just like we live out of language, or we live out of the idea. Well, anyway, lots of stuff. I could go on, but
I've heard
one of those is that, you know, we have no control over certain things in our mind. And one of the reasons we think we have no control is because we want so much for ourselves. We are really, really selfish. Okay. You know, and I don't mean that in an incredibly negative way. It's hard to sound positive with that. You see what I'm saying? But we're so obsessed with ourselves. I mean, we are. It's all me, me, me. Come on. You know, it's like all day long, right? It's you, right? See? And because of that, we're trying to manage life. We're trying to get through, and we think it's important, and we think that our life is important. And then, where's the import of our life? Where is it important? You know, it's in what we think is important, and what others think is important, and what we've decided. You know, yes, I have to be this, I have to be that, I have to accomplish this. I got to go viral nowadays, right? That's what you got to do anyway, and. Because we're caught up in all that, see, we have no inclination to even look into the fact that we are doing all this shit, that we are doing it. All this mind stuff that you say, I can't not do. All you have to do is grasp that you're doing it. So first idea, I guess, is to have the notion, or, you know, entertain the possibility that, yeah, maybe you're doing it. See, so you say you have something, I don't know, you're worried about something, right? I'm worried, I'm suffering this worrying. Oh, right? Okay, why? Well, because this, that, and the other thing. No, it's because you're thinking this, that, and the other thing. You cannot be worried unless you imagine a scenario of something bad happen that's not happening, by the way. You follow that? You say, yeah, but it could. Yeah, right. And, you know, a meteor could hit you in the head. So what? See, you're imagining it. You're imagining it. Seriously, you really are. Okay. But, okay, stop the buts. Okay. I said, you know, the excuses, the justifications, stuff like that. No, stop thinking about what could go wrong, and the suffering goes away. You see?
I hope you're enjoying this conversation so far. If you like what you hear, let me know by clicking like, subscribing to the channel, and responding with a comment around something that you found interesting in the conversation so far. In addition to these videos, I do a lot of writing on the exploration of consciousness and my own personal revelations in my newsletter called Consciousness: The Doorway to Human Evolution. To receive these updates and more, all you need to do is simply head to the link in the description below, and you'll be added to the community of 20,000 plus consciousness explorers receiving weekly ideas and inspiration in their inbox. I look forward to hearing from you there. Now let's get back to the show.
Very, very interesting. I mean, there's so many different approaches to deal with this problem you're discussing. You know, some traditions talk about watching it and not engaging. Other people I've heard just talk about all your thoughts are a lie. And you're seem to be saying that you can take ownership that you're creating it and just tell it to stop, and it stops.
Yeah, you don't tell it to stop, you stop because you're doing it. So I'm saying when you say I tell it to stop, it's like not you, it's an it. Then I got to tell it to stop. You stop that. You stop that. No, then stop it.
Then my question becomes the following: is then the capacity to observe and direct the mind as the one doing it? Is that like, let's say, okay, I have a bad thought, I stop, and then I have another bad thought, and then I stop, and then I become really good at learning to stop things as they happen. And eventually maybe they don't happen because I've trained myself for them not to happen. I'm kind of just curious what the progression of this type of practice looks like.
Oh, I don't entertain a practice because, it's just, you just do it. I don't know that, you need a practice or a progression. You see what I'm saying? You just stop doing it. See, the problem doesn't lie in you, again, you, see, doing something to yourself so that eventually you get better. That's what everybody does. Everybody's trying to find a method to inflict upon themselves so eventually they get better. No, first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay? I mean, seriously, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to feed into your ego. Okay? I'm saying there's literally nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with anybody. See, so you don't have to inflict something upon yourself. You just have to stop being ignorant. All right. See, the answer lies in becoming conscious of what you're actually doing. Once you're conscious of what you're doing, you can stop doing it. You don't have to enter into a long process. Now, okay, given you're programmed and you have habits of mind and everything, I understand. Probably it's not going to happen overnight, right? Okay, I can appreciate that. It's like our training, it goes blah, 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 we're used to a certain way of thinking. So you might have to do it again and again and again and again until you start getting the idea, right? But again, you got to get out of this notion, see, this world in which I tell my mind to stop doing something. No, you stop doing it. See? You stop. Like the whole idea that you're not okay, that's a thought you have. It might be a very deep thought. It might be, and for most people it is. See, most people have something like, I'm worthless, I'm flawed, I'm broken, I'm not okay. Oh, that kind of shit, right? See, most people have that. I mean, seriously, most people do. Now, some people work really hard at being successful and or happy or distracted or whatever, right? They do that. And when you're distracted, you feel okay, right? You do. But then in those moments when you're not distracted, oh boy, it comes sweeping back in, doesn't it? It's like, oh, I'm not okay. Now, why? See, why? You're not. Okay. That's something you're doing too. See, now you might have been doing that since childhood. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You might be really strong at it. So you've worked hard. Okay. You've told yourself for like decades that you're not okay. So you live that you're not okay in some way, right? Flawed, you're missing something important, whatever, right? None of that is true. It isn't true. You as a being cannot be missing anything, but that's another story. All right. So in any case, you see, if your mind isn't doing that, it's not there. Now, for most people, that might take some contemplation, right? That might take some looking into, because the first thing is no, you're stupid. Well, who knows? Like the first thing is no, I'm okay. no, I'm okay. Look at my accomplishments. Look at everything I've done. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm not, I'm not broke. You're like, whatever. Okay. Me thinks you speak to, you protest too much, right? It's like, people go down that road, say, yeah, calm down. Now, what's true? Oh yeah, I'm not okay. It's like, yeah, like what's in the bottom, like nobody else knows. You don't have to tell, like it's a confessional, okay, whatever, won't spread the word. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Yeah. There's something's not quite right here. Yeah. You and how many billions of other people? I mean, come on, this is not common, but everybody thinks they're alone in that. Everybody thinks, they're the only one who's not okay. No, except for a few other screwed up people. Right? See, it's like, no, 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 you're not. And okay is a social matter. This thing about being flawed and broken, this is as if an existential aspect of the social world that we share. It's not real. It's something we've created. See, it's something you're doing. So if you look into it deeply enough and you get, oh, this as if not a superficial thought, this is a very deep thought. Okay. See, because people think thoughts are kinds of whimsy, like, oh, I'm just having a simple little thought here. No, 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 no. Your whole life is a goddamn thought. All right. See, your whole life, everything you live, everything, etc. Right. Okay. So in any case, see, this might be like, wow, I exist. My whole existence is that something's broken here or something like that, right? See, I am worthless. I'm incapable. You fill in the blanks, whatever you got. Oh, I think that. See, well, okay, let's back up before you jump to conclusions. Okay. Yes, you do, but you live that. See the difference? You live it. You don't as if think it the way you normally think of thinking, right? You don't think it like an intellectual matter. No, you live it. You breathe it from moment to moment to moment. But what I'm saying, it's a concept. It's a mental construct. It's something you're doing, ergo, like a thought. And if you stop doing it, it's gone. And if you realize who you really are, say, or what you really are, and then you grasp, it's impossible to be broken. Okay. It's impossible to be worthless. Worth is a social matter. It's something we invented. It's not real. It's not existential. It doesn't exist in the universe. Okay. And you exist in the universe. All right. And it's fine. You are what you are. Anyway. So anyway, that gives us something to work with, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so, but I actually think this is such an important concept, and I know we're talking about removing concepts, but the notion that worth isn't real, I've never heard that before.
Oh, really?
I've never heard it before, but it's so profound because it is an invention.
Absolutely.
When you really think about it, it's a comparative invention with a basis on other inventions.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. And you'd be astounded at the amount of inventions that we live as if real. I mean, seriously, it's staggering.
I've heard you talk about a process that you went through where you realized that a lot of these martial arts traditions that you were studying were ultimately limited because they all had beliefs. They all had their own belief systems. And ultimately you spend a number of years kind of just letting go of all beliefs, letting go of all beliefs. And I'm like, wow, that sounds freaking amazing, because these beliefs create so many limitations in our lives, whether we know it or not. What was that? I mean, I feel like I might know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask it. What did you do during those 3 years? What does that process look like to remove this conceptual box that we live in? How do we do that?
Yeah. What 3 years? You said 3 years. What 3 years?
Well, in an interview you did with somebody else that I listened in preparation for this episode, you talked about how you spent probably about 3 years getting rid of all beliefs.
Oh, okay.
Or it took you about 3 years. That's what you said.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and it goes on and on. But you see, like the bulk, a couple years, it's especially in that domain, huge amounts. I mean, I was throwing them out as fast as I could discover that it was a belief, and most beliefs are not that hard to discover if you really look into it, right? If it's hearsay, if it's something you just think is true, if it's something you want to be true, it's a belief. Toss it. But, okay, the buts again. See, I do both sides of the conversation. Anyway, so just using martial, like you brought up the martial. Yeah, I did that since I was a child. Okay. And I did every martial art known to humankind. And I was good at it all. I say modestly. but I mean, that was demonstrable. That was demonstrable, right? Because, I beat up everybody. I mean, saying it's kind of demonstrable. And then, blah, 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 where I did that. But I started, because I also had this, kind of Zen stuff. Not that I was stuck on Zen, but, this enlightenment stuff. I just use Zen because people think they know what that's about. Okay. They go, oh, Zen meditation. Oh, yeah, like that, right? Okay. See, so like, okay, yeah, like in that. Because that's what they do. That's what they do, is try to have enlightenments and, blah, blah. Okay. And that informed my martial a great deal. So I started realizing, and I realized this before that too, at some point, that no, all of them are way too limited, and they're all stuck in a archetype. They're all stuck in a belief system. They're all stuck in a world, and it's not hard. I mean, seriously, have you done any martial arts?
Man, maybe a handful of classes through the course of my life.
Okay, but you see, they're good. If you walk into an Aikido dojo, a school dojo, right? There's a certain feel to it. There's a way of thinking. There's a way of behaving. There's a way of strutting. Okay, and that's all Aikido. If you walk into a Tai Chi school, very different. Immediately very different. There's another fantasy that they're entertaining. If you walk into a Kung Fu school, another fantasy that they're living. If you walk into a karate school, another fantasy they're living. And now you start to see, I'm calling them fantasies. All right? Because they're all fantasies. I mean, seriously, they really, really, really are. Okay? Because, in any case, I could go into that, but that's a whole other subject, And all of them are based on a world and seeing the world a certain way and a belief system. This is the way things go. It's not. That world does not exist, and that belief system is just something made up by people, sometimes one person, but people who share in it. And, and if they love it and it's good for them, fine, great. Keeps them off the street. Okay, gives them something to do, right? See, but it's a fantasy. And personally, for example, I was interested in real fighting. What is that? How does it take place? What occurs? Not traditions, not how do I do karate, kung fu, these moves. Oh, no, none of that. What is fighting? Fighting is you and me, your body, my body. It's a relationship. How do I relate to what you do? How do I relate to what you think? How do I know what you think? I'll tell you how I know what you think. I know what you think because your actions will be based on what you think. You see, people think their thinking is so mysterious, right? It's not. You will do relative, and you will see and perceive and relate to things because of what you think, because of what your mind does. And so I'll just read that, and I know what you're thinking. You see, I mean, I'll tell a student, I'll tell them to do something, and they'll do something. I say, no, you're thinking this. Just don't think that. How do you know I'm thinking? Because this is what you're doing. Okay? You don't do this unless you think that. Anyway. So it's kind of back to our thing, you see, what we were talking about, the mind, controlling the mind. And so in that whole world, the whole martial world, controlling the mind is very important. The real martial world, not the fake martial world, which is 99% of it. I'm talking about people who actually fight. Okay. I did this world tournament in China and blah, blah, blah. First non-Asian to win there and take that title. And it wasn't that hard. All right. And one of the reasons it's not that hard is because of what I do. What I started to do with the whole fighting, again, throw out all beliefs, throw out all traditions. They're They're useful only in that, it teaches you stuff you might not have thought about, teaches you ways of punching or throwing or, knocking somebody down or whatever, biting, kicking, scratching, whatever. I don't know, whatever, it teaches you stuff that people might have worked out for a long time. Okay. That can be useful. Sure. But as far as fighting goes, no. And the belief does not win the match. In any case, I started then from the ground up. They erase all the assumptions, all the beliefs. What's here? You and me. See? Okay, what's happening here? Oh, you're moving. Cool. I'm perceiving. Okay. Without perception, none of this goes down. Now I ask you, you haven't done the martial arts, but I have, right? Since I was like, 9 years old, right? Say, how many martial arts, traditional martial arts, even pay attention to perception? Consider that an aspect of the martial world. No, everybody takes it for granted. And they take for granted that what they interpret and what they see is real. No, it's not. Okay? Perception is a crucial aspect of this interaction, for example. What is force? What is momentum? What is weight? What is power? What are you thinking? What is strategy? What are tactics? What is move? What is the relationship? How does it occur? Etc. You see the difference here. No tradition. What's really going on? And then built it from there. You understand? See? Built it from there until I had stuff most people do not. You see? And that's the way I could do things most people could not, because they couldn't see these things. You see?
Well, it strikes me to outline your meta process, throw out all the beliefs, be in the now, and then try to observe, laws of reality and align to them, like what is actually happening and what is actually true.
Yeah, but see, dig it, right? It's not that easy, See, well, first of all, I always advise caution when you try to get stuff down into sound bites. Okay? I always advise caution when you try to get, my 5 easy lessons.
Right. It's obvious. Yeah, right? I get it.
It can be really, really much more challenging than that. And then as far as, the laws of reality, what are those? So you got work on your hands, because the first thing you have to do is investigate, and you have to do it openly. You can't do it from what you've learned necessarily. Of course, it's going to influence you, but you see what I'm saying? You have to think, what are the laws? What is going on here? And anyway, and we were talking about the martial, and what we're talking about, your mind and suffering and stuff like that, is not martial, although sometimes it seems like it. In any case, you could see here again. Okay, so let's use the martial. I do, because I had like a lot of background in that. I'm a master martial artist, so controlling the mind is essential. Okay. When you go out to fight someone, in a match, not in a bar. You shouldn't go out to fight someone in a bar, okay? But you go out to fight someone, right? See, what happens between the two of you is what determines the outcome. And then, how you think, how you see, how you relate, what you do is what determines, the outcome, etc. Right? Now, most people, they'll get angry or frightened, or they think they know, or they get cocky or whatever. None of those things are useful. They're not useful at all. And most people think they are, or they think I'll be, create bravado or determination or anger but none of that works. Not really. I mean, it might work for you sometimes, right? Because just people are people and they're nuts. But, see, nothing. You throw that out. You control the mind. You have no emotion. You have feeling, no emotion. You have sensitivity, no reaction. You see what's going on and you relate to it faster than most people can think. You follow? And seriously, faster than most people can think. You see, and you do that, and you don't let any of the social crap get in the way. You don't let any of the I'm good, I'm bad get in the way. You don't let reactions, emotions, fears, anger, none of that. That's all gone. And you do a job in a domain most people don't know how to access. You follow? See, now that's, people hear about these things, I suspect, right? You maybe watched a samurai movie and they'll try to slip a little something like that in there, like, empty mind or whatever, see, but it's true. All right. And it works. Now, maybe that assisted me in being able to recognize some of the stuff I'm doing with my mind in a social context or in my crazy, stupid, suffering context. Say, but when you see it, when you recognize it, when you can then control your mind in the sense you're doing it, stop doing it.
Yeah. What's coming up for me is like, I've had this pain in my back of my neck that's so agitating and it's just always there. And I'm like, I'm probably doing that.
Well, you're doing the aggravation for sure, right? The pain, see, now the unnecessary suffering, I'm talking about like the worry, depression, being upset, stressed, all that kind of stuff, right? Broken, blah, blah, less than, all that, the whole mental, emotional, social domain is unnecessary. The physical domain, we could tackle that. I could talk to you about how to make the pain in the neck disappear, all right? But that's a different matter, right? See, and I don't want it to confuse it, but I want to notice your relationship to the pain is different than the pain.
That's true.
Then even if you stop calling it pain, that'll change your relationship to it also. See, but in this discussion, and we can go down that road, but that's a whole other road, right? See, but in this discussion, we're talking about the other stuff. See, because most of the stuff, like the pain in your neck, is probably going to go away. I mean, I hope. Let's cross our fingers. So it goes away. Like, you stub your toe or something, right? Now, yeah, it's painful. You hop around, swear a little. It's painful, right? You stub your toe. All right. And the pain, so-called pain, comes from the consequences of stubbing your toe. See, and then physiologically, that will be okay. It'll calm down. You'll heal, right? So that's a different matter. And we could go into all that, what pain is and everything like that. But that might be a bridge too far for most people. But what I'm saying with all this other stuff, it's not a bridge too far. And let me give you an example to help, okay? See, this is an example I use. I'll give you two. One, think of a rabbit, a bunny rabbit, not Bugs Bunny. He's a wise ass. Think of a real rabbit, little bunny rabbit, right? See, now, does he suffer all this stuff? Does he worry and fret and stress? Is he depressed, dissatisfied, missing something in life? No. Think he's broken? No, none of it. None of it. He's just hopping around and eating grass, okay, or whatever he's doing. We got rabbits here, so I can watch them. But in any case, they're wild. I live in the middle of nowhere in Texas. In any case, and by the way, there are places in Texas that actually have trees and rivers and wildlife and stuff like that. It's not all brambles. Like a lot of people think it's just desert and tumbleweeds. I used to think that. Any case, but it's not. Any case, so now notice, see, watch. Now, even no matter what, even if you're really wrong about the whole rabbit experience, still, you're pretty certain it's different than yours, aren't you? See, now you jump to the conclusion, probably, like most humans, yours is better. Is it?
Probably a lot less suffering as a rabbit.
Huge. I mean, take a look at it. See, watch the rabbit. I have a cat here, right? He does the same routine day after day, comes like say he's not, I never seen him be bored. He sleeps a lot. He does the same thing, but he doesn't have any of this. You see, the rabbit doesn't have any of this. So what's the rabbit doesn't have that you and I have? Get rid of it. No, okay. Now you'll panic and say, yeah, no, it's too much. Yeah, I have to. My life depends on it. Okay. Now, first I recommend get rid of it. See, just practice being a rabbit for a while. That'll be like a meditation, right? See, that'll be like a practice. You wanted to practice, there you go. Okay. See, you practice being like mind of the rabbit. Or if you want to really go hardcore, be a mind of a tree.
I like that.
That's hardcore. That's hardcore. Okay. See, now, okay. And then just do that. Everything that's not that is your world of suffering. That's all a human invented world. Is it necessary for life? No. The tree, the rabbit, they're both alive. See, not necessary. It's not necessary. It seems like it's necessary for our complex human social world. Okay. It's not really. Most of it is not. And then we can make a distinction between what goes on in our minds, because yes, we have an evolved brain that produces lots of problem solving stuff and imagination and abstract thought. Okay. Good for it. All right. See, but we've gone down some really stupid roads. Okay. And we've got into this suffering business. What you think, what you do with your mind has consequences. We don't think it has consequences. We think we're scot-free. We can live in this private little inner world, which, by the way, isn't real. But in any case, we can live in there and just, we think it has no consequences. No, it does. It does. What you do with your mind, how you live life, what you think, etc., in a deep way, in a superficial way, has consequences. And all the suffering, the depression, the worry, the stress, the I'm not good enough, there's something missing in life, I'm lonely, all that you created. It's all created in your mind. You don't have to do it. The first thing you have to do in order to encounter what I just said is entertain the possibility that what I just said is true. Okay. You don't have to do it. Say your brain will say, no, I do. I can't help it. I can't help it. All right. Now relax, breathe, okay? And then just consider, well, maybe not. I don't know why you talk like that. Your voice goes up an octave when it's you. In any case, you see, you don't have to do it. You understand? How do I know this? Because I don't do it. Okay. Okay. You know, see, it's like, yeah, oh, look at this. Oh, I see, I mean, I'll do stuff. I've done stuff in my life. And then I'm like, oh, look what I'm doing. Stop it. Oh, gone. Just like that. Gone just like that. Oh.
See, how do your students that come and study you with you react when they have this revelation?
They make progress. Okay. Most of them hang on to this same kind of, stuff and bullshit that we all hang on to is, yeah, but I can't help it. Yeah, but I can't help it. Or it keeps coming back. All right, then, practice. I mean, if it keeps coming back, practice, because you haven't gotten it really, See, you don't really get it. You're not in the place where you're doing it. We're in the driver's seat. You see, you still think you're not doing it. And then you override that and you go, wait, I'll have this, I'll change this thought that I can find. Oh, look, it works. And they'll find it works over and over again. See? The rabbit. Oh, but then it comes back. Okay. But that's something you got to deal with, right? See? And then consider, see, the reason it comes back is because of the, how do I say this in a way that might make a difference? Is because of your own, a world you're not willing to give up. Okay, your own desires, say your own. I need resolution. I need to fix myself, and I can't give that up. Bullshit. You don't need to fix yourself. I've already mentioned that. You're already okay. I mean, seriously. Again, not your ego. Your ego sucks. Okay, you don't give a shit. I'm just saying, you as a being, who you really are, is already okay. Just realize that. You can't be wrong. I'm serious here. Okay. Worth has nothing to do with it. Being broken has nothing. So you can't be broken. Like, okay. You ever seen a three-legged dog?
I have.
Yes. You've seen a three-legged. Everybody's seen a three-legged dog. What happens? They don't have a leg, right? Now, does that dog look like he's a happy dog? Probably
just as happy as all the other dogs.
It's just as happy as every other dog, right? I mean, if he's around human, he get neurotic, but if you leave him alone, okay, he'll just run around happy, right? He doesn't have a leg. You and I, if we don't have a leg, we're upset about it. We live a whole life around we don't have a leg. He doesn't, and he's showing us it's possible. Happiness has nothing to do with whether you have a leg or not. It has nothing to do with your attainments. It doesn't. Oh boy, everybody says, oh no, but it does. I'm world class in the martial world, okay? I'm top of my field in this, whatever we call this, consciousness world, right? Does that make any difference? Like that? No. I mean, if I still have that I'm worthless, which I don't, okay? But if I did, none of that would make any difference. Seriously. It would just be attainments that, okay, good. I attained things. Now I got $1 billion. Good. It's like, oh, if I get $1 billion, then I'll be happy. Will you? No. If you're not happy now, you get $1 billion, you're going to be an unhappy billionaire. That's the only thing that's going to happen. You might be a little more distracted with your yacht and your plane for a little while. I mean, seriously. Okay. It doesn't last, say, and then you go, oh yeah, well, I'm unhappy. And now you're really in trouble because wait a minute, all this wealth didn't cure my unhappiness. I'm really fucked up. See,
I've seen many a person go through that experience. Absolutely. That realization.
Absolutely. In many different ways. It doesn't have to be money. It could be spiritual attainment. It could be, all kinds of things. See? And we think that there's some resolution that'll fix us and make us whole and complete. Or what's missing? Oh, I have to find that mate, right? I have to find the woman or man that's going to make me whole. Why aren't you whole already? See? Why aren't you okay the way you are now? What's wrong with you?
One thing that's coming up for me is, I think, again, this is another cultural, societal concept, is people like talking about limiting beliefs, but they're not as interested in letting go of all beliefs, right? They just want to get the bad stuff out of there. And why, I'd love to hear you make the case for like, no, actually all beliefs, it's more advantageous.
Absolutely. I can easily do that. A belief is not true by definition. A belief is not true. A belief is a concept that you have of something you think is true. That's totally different. And most of your beliefs, you don't even really think are true. Okay. Not in kind of any objective or real sense or any existential or inherent sense. You see, you just like them. When you buy into some kind of spiritual belief system, it's like you just like it, right? Oh, I love that. I'm going to be, this and that, the other thing, I don't know why I started speaking Indian now, but anyway, it's like, see, and you like the belief system, and you like to think of yourself in that way because, again, it's all about you. And see, the truth isn't about you. Even the truth of you isn't about you. It's about what's true. See? Independent of what you want, independent of what you believe, all of that shit, independent of the assumptions and inventions that found your reality, it's just what's true. See? And so in my world, see, what I recommend in any case is grasp what's true, become conscious, stop being so damn ignorant. And then you start noticing what you're actually doing here. See? It is helpful for that. Yeah. See, but in any case, you can't base, I've said this many, many times, you can't base your search for what's true on what you want. See, you're immediately biased when you do that, and you'll never get what's true. See, you can't base it on what's useful to you. See, because then you're always looking for use and function, and that's you, and that's an invention. And that's a certain kind of relationship. It's a total bias from the beginning, you see? And the moment you base what's true, or your search for what's true, or your contemplation of what's true on something like that, you're already, you won't do it. It won't happen. See, so you got to grasp what's true, whether it's good for you or not, whether it's useful or not. Maybe what's true has no use at all. Yeah, all right. But it's what's true. See, so you have to, have at least, I don't know what you say, like a curiosity, yeah, of I want to know what's true because it's what is true. And then I'll pass this on, right? In whatever way you can conceive of it, what is, there's no suffering. See, there can't be. See, suffering is a process, an activity. It's something created by the mind. See, what is what is. Right? See? So now if you make a distinction between what is, and whatever way you hold that, what is absolutely, ultimately, infinitely, what is, which that's a good one. Okay. Or just what is like a table, what I'm saying? What is like existence? What do you call this? Reality that you perceive, the reality that you perceive, right? You say, what is? There's no suffering there. See, you notice the walls around you, they're not suffering. Your chair, it's okay. No suffering, right? See, what is, right? You too, if you didn't have this other shit, no suffering. See, so you make a distinction to what is and what isn't. And what isn't, your mind. It's all concepts you're making up, all right? No matter how strong the feeling or the impulse or the belief or the assumption, it's something you're doing. You're making it up. It isn't. It doesn't exist. It actually doesn't exist. Now, if you drop that, you get it really, really, really doesn't exist. That's a good key point too. Okay, throw that into your, the method thing. Okay, so you got to get that it doesn't exist, right? Okay, and then, when you grasp it doesn't exist, then you get that you being worthless doesn't exist. It's a concept. So you grasp that you're, whatever, you're broken, doesn't exist. It's something you're doing, something you're making up. So you're being lonely. Right? You're a separate individual that lives inside your head, and it's so lonely in there, isn't it?
I appreciate the way you can laugh about these things like most people can't. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. See, because they're not real. Okay. See, so I mean, I can tap into it. I can grasp it. Yeah, this is the way people do things, but it's not real. See, and my laughter is how do you say? I'm telling you, it's not real. It's not real. You actually don't. It's an invention that you live inside there. I'm sorry you think it's real, but it's not. But that's going to take a longer discussion, okay? See, that's a little bit longer. You see what I'm saying? But you see that whole idea of being a separate individual and me separated, living in there. What if that's not real? Then the separation is not real. And then all that bullshit that goes on in there is not real either. I'm just saying.
It's well, I think there's a lot of food for thought in this discussion and a lot of contemplations that anybody listening, myself included, will benefit from spending a little bit of time with.
Yes.
So thank you. And
you're welcome.
And I'm curious, like, I think there's a lot of people listening to this that are more curious to learn more, to go deeper. I plan on reading your book when it's out. I've listened to the excerpts online that are available on your YouTube channel. If we want to go deeper with some of the things you're talking about, where can we do that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. First of all, the book that's coming out, the suffering book, is about book 12. Right. So there's other books you could read too. And the kind of tome, or the central kind of the Bible of this work, is called the Book of Not Knowing. And I recommend that first. Okay. It's a lot of not knowing. It's like 600 pages. Yeah, let's see. Can you see that?
It's a biggie.
Yeah. See, it's the book of not knowing. Okay. Anyway, and then there's other books too. You don't care, read them, don't read them. But I would start because it lays a big foundation that would be helpful, really helpful. Even talks a lot about contemplation, about this mind stuff, and contemplating that, right? So it'd be helpful to get more out of the suffering book, if you want. So I would recommend that. And then my name is Peter Ralston, Ralston. You'll probably have it somewhere, right? Peter Ralston. That's all you have to remember. And you just do peterralston.com.
Nice.
I'm a .com. Okay. And then, people can see the work that we do here. And we do, workshops. People come here from around the world, live for a little while, a week, a month, whatever. Very, very serious people, maybe 8 months, whatever, like that. And it really, really makes a difference. It does. Because as you can imagine, see, we've whipped through a bunch of stuff here in an hour or so. And there's not a chance in hell anybody can actually get it that fast. See, even in a workshop, it's more challenging, but boy, does it make a difference. Because you actually do the work. You do it piece by piece. You move through this and that, and contemplate, do exercises, address issues, etc. from the ground up, you see. So I recommend it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds very interesting. And I live in Texas, so
maybe right, Austin, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll come and see you. How far from Austin are you?
2 hours.
Oh, cool. Nice.
We're in the hills outside San Antonio. You know where Bernie is?
I don't, but I know where San Antonio is.
Okay. We're to the west of San Antonio in the hills.
Nice.
Northwest, yeah. And we got our own little place here. Yeah, it's not that far. Come on down. We do month-long retreats. I used to have a school in California, and community people could come and go, right? At the school, because it's like in a city. But now I'm not in the city. I'm in the middle of nowhere, right? And I have a lot of people in Europe and Australia and Japan, different places, right? And the US and like that. So they come here and live for a while, because I don't do a community thing, for locals. And so we have it set up so people can come and stay for a while. So it's not far from you. You should come on down. We do like a month, like in spring, April. We do a whole month of workshops. And then in the fall, we do another month, October, usually, like that month, October, April. And in the winter, we do the body stuff and little martial stuff in January.
Nice.
So we just do that. Yeah. So.
Nice. Very cool. We'll make sure to link all that out, as well as the book, your site, so it's easy for people to find. And thank you, Peter, for this thought-provoking conversation. It was a lot of fun. And I also just think you might win the most enthusiastic guest award, which is freaking awesome. I love it, man.
Okay. Thank you. I hope somebody, I hope your listeners benefit from it.
Absolutely. All righty. We'll see you on the next episode.